Hi, my name is Christy Skura. I'm a physical therapist at Wish Charter, an inclusive school where kids of all abilities and backgrounds learn side by side in the same classrooms. We teach them social justice through inclusion and diversity, ensuring that all members of the community are valued. I think we can expand this into our neighborhoods where we live, work, and play, and I want to bring more of that perspective to the council. As a PT, I use an evidence-based approach for treatment strategies, which I think will also work well to help solve issues of concern in our Westchester Playa community. Most people outside of the area don't know about Westchester, or if they do, they just vaguely know it's where LAX is. But those of us who are here recognize that Westchester Playa is continuing to grow into a vibrant, family-centered community. I've enjoyed participating with my kids throughout the years in the annual 4th of July parade and the Race for Success, now the Rock, Roll, and Stroll. And I love how our neighborhood organizations, schools, and local businesses come together to benefit the community. My participation locally began, as many of us do, with our kids, with swim classes at the Y, T-ball at Nielsen Field, and AYSO soccer. But I really became involved when my oldest started kindergarten 11 years ago. Since then, I've served on the parent leadership board at Wish, led the finance and fundraising committee, planned community building events, and met some of my best friends. It's really taught me the value of an engaged community. Over the last year, I've served as a volunteer for Grassroots Neighbors, participated in demonstrations and get out the vote events with Westside activists, and worked with local rescues to foster young animals. Some would like to paint this election as a single issue campaign, and it's not. The council can work to all of our benefit by creating pedestrian-friendly walkways so that we can safely walk or run through the neighborhood without tripping over uneven sidewalks, by supporting our local schools, and by increasing parks and green spaces so that the families who come after us will have adequate space to play baseball or soccer in the park with their kids. However, the crisis that we're in with our unhoused population cannot be ignored, and we need to find real solutions to provide shelter and supportive social services as soon as possible. People experiencing homelessness are already in the parks and on the sidewalks, and they can't just be displaced when there aren't enough shelter beds or housing units to move them into. Successful programs will involve a multi-pronged approach, and we need to try all reasonable solutions without waiting a moment longer. The city legislature will take the input provided by our neighborhood council and the community, and it will be our job to hold them accountable for providing services, safety, sanitation, and timelines. We also cannot ignore the systemic social justice issues that have brought us here and continue to contribute to the problem. I've been going door to door these last few weeks, and I've learned a lot with the community members I've spoken to. Many, if not most, don't know that the council exists, much less how they are being represented, and I believe we can do better. If elected, I intend to join the outreach committee and help facilitate the involvement of a greater number of stakeholders. This pandemic has in some ways been an opportunity, as we've seen a much higher number of participants in recent monthly meetings via Zoom. And I'd like to continue to have an option for people to join online, even when we go back to in-person meetings. We also need to engage those who work, not just live in the neighborhood, because they are equal stakeholders. The greater number of voices that we can facilitate to provide input, the more diverse and inclusive the representation will be. As someone who's lived in our neighborhood for 18 years, I've not shied away from an opportunity to roll up my sleeves and help make my community better. As a member of the neighborhood council, I will invest the time to learn what works and what needs to get done to tackle the problems which too long have been left unaddressed by our current council. I'll hope you consider voting for me, Christy Skura. Thank you.